fellow Rotarians.
Good afternoon, President Deb.
All right. So welcome to the weekly meeting of the Rotary Club of Barrie, and a special welcome to our visiting Rotarians and special guests. Things go better when you are here. We will now begin our meeting in the usual way with O Canada and a toast to the Queen.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot, and all our sons command. With glowing hearts, we see the right path to more strong and free. On far and wise, oh Canada, we stand on God for lead. Oh, keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on God for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on God for thee.
Absolutely adorable. Those two little ones are Marshall's grandchildren, and they sent in the wonderful presentation you just enjoyed. Certainly love it. So out there, anyone who wants to participate, do an O Canada or a birthday, we'd love to have it and share it. Take advantage of this time. So a toast to the Queen, and thank you very much, Marshall, for lending your grandchildren out to us. Hey, introductions of guests and visiting Rotarians. Marshall, I saw you had a guest there.
Yes, President. Just briefly, my wife came in there to see her grandchildren.
Oh, she's not staying on for the whole meeting.
She'll jump in back and forth, but she's sort of heavy to duty in the kitchen right now.
Okay, well, is that making something for Rotarians?
Yeah, for a Rotarian.
I don't know.
Okay. I'm going to be fine for the grandkids anyway, so we will double it up.
You're a good sport. Thanks. Dr. J, you have a guest.
I do, President Deb. Tanya Sari is my guest today.
Welcome. And I saw our assistant district governor on there, Steve.
Yep.
Hi.
Hi, welcome. I'm glad to be here again. It's been a while.
It has. Thank you so much for joining us again. So let's see. Once again, welcome to all our guests visiting Rotarians, and we hope you enjoy your time with us. Our Beacon editor this week is Ben Lapshinoff. So if you're making any announcements, please send a little note off to him. It's a lot easier to do it that way. And oh, hold on, I missed. Brian Galbraith, you have guests. You have to take yourself off mute.
Yeah, Nicole's just here to have lunch with me, so.
Okay, I just love it when all the spouses come on in and join in on the Rotary meeting. So I'm just gonna grab everyone I can. And many thanks to Dave Thompson for a great beacon last week. Really appreciate catching everything. So special presentations and announcements. We have a few. So to line up, we've got Todd Armstrong. Are you ready?
Yes, President Debbie, I'm here. Hopefully my audio sounds better this week than last week.
It does already.
Nice and clear is good. So today is October 1st, which is wonderful. 31 days from now, it will be November 1st. That will be the start of our auction. It's going to run for a 15-day period. It's going to end on Sunday, the 15th of November. This year we will have multiple blocks closing at slightly staggered times to increase the amount of last minute bidding that's available. And an update on the number of items we have this week. 16 more items were brought in by Rotarians, which is awesome. Brings us up to a total of 102. That's a good number. So I would like to thank the 13 Rotarians that have brought in items so far. The flip side of that coin is that there's still a heck of a lot of Rotarians that must be still working on bringing in their items. So I'm looking forward to hearing from those people. I've also noticed that there are quite a few Rotarians digging into their own pockets for donations this year, which is awesome. But please also continue to go out and ask the local businesses, business people in our community that might want to partake in it. So what else did I want to say? Anyway, we're off to a good start. I'd like to see the number of items get up to, I was hoping for 300, which would be a huge increase over last year's numbers, but that might be asking a lot. Anyways, if we can at least double up on what we have so far, that would be great. So if everybody who is not one of the 13 who has already donated or solicited some donations, please get a hold of me. Also, if anybody is interested in helping out with the various aspects of the auction, please contact me directly outside the meeting here, and I'd be happy to have your help. Thanks very much.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Todd. I know you're hustling after everybody. Remember, folks, that is our big fundraiser. So this is really important that everybody participate and help Todd make it a super success. Chris Garapi. We have Chris on there. Is Chris on? Don't see Chris. Anybody else want to help make an announcement for the golf tournament?
I can do a little bit of that, President Deb.
Sure.
Everybody that is signed up should already have their billings. I think our deadline is already in place, so check your email. Make sure you paid Chris for your entry fee and barbecue if you're on. And then please do a little bit of prayer for great weather. I'd rather it be a little bit warmer than it is today. Thanks.
Awesome. So that's October.
1 week today.
1 week today. So October 8th.
And President Deb, I can tell you that we're looking for a fourth because Kyle Campbell is weak and has decided to do something else. So if they're looking to play with myself, Todd Tuckey, and Darren Robinson, we would appreciate it. Thanks.
You had us until Tuckey.
President Dev, I'd like a chance to just refute the weakness. I am terribly weak, but the problem is I don't have time to spend with Tuckey. I'm lucky enough in my life that I'm going to have a nice Thanksgiving, and being around Tuckey doesn't help that cause. Paul Markle is, and I can share some pictures if you want, Paul. He's very good at taking golf balls off of places that shouldn't be hit, and I'd be happy to send you some pictures, SA Eric, on that.
I think that sounds good. Pictures are awesome.
Yeah, no problem. I'd be happy to help out. Thanks, Paul.
You just got to have the right team.
Hey, thank you. Jody, where are you?
Right here, President Deb. Thank you very much. And I'm going to apologize now. I'm going to be long. I guess I'm practicing for next year and standing up here talking. So 2 announcements. The hike, everybody that signed up, and we have a pretty awesome group. We have approximately 40 people. You've all received the information. For anybody that's here that's on the hike, it's going to be a muddy trail. There's rain up there today. There's rain up there tomorrow. It will be a muddy trail. You need, well, if you want to get through without falling on your butt, you need good hiking shoes. Hiking poles would be a good idea. And you're going to want to change of clothes from cold and wet to warm, because we're probably going to encounter all 3 of those. So everybody has their information on that. We've covered our social distancing protocols for the barbecue, so everything looks like it's going to be a great hike. And message number 2 if I could, Jeff, if you wouldn't mind throwing that up on the screen for me. So our Rotary, and actually before I do this, I apologize. I have another hike announcement. You can leave that up, doesn't matter. Nobody wants to look at my face. I apologize. Past President, past District Governor Jim Williams last week became our sponsor for our hike for $250, with the proceeds going towards Rotary's campaign to eradicate polio. October, there is Polio Eradication Month. So what I'm thinking we can do is, this is voluntary, but for the hikers, I'm going to pass a hat around on Saturday. And if you want to throw in $1, $5, $10, whatever we have, let's see what we can do to top up Jim's contribution, which will ultimately obviously go to our club's efforts to support polio eradication. And that number is going to be, I think, ultimately tripled when it filters up through the district and to the Bill and Melinda Gates campaign that supports it. So for the hikers, I'm going to pass a hat around on Saturday, hopefully after you've had a couple of glasses of wine after the hike, and we'll look for some money there. So message number 2, our Rotary Clubberry art exhibit and dining experience. So Adam at Hooligans stepped up in a big way. COVID threw us a curve last week. We couldn't host it at my office, so we're going to host it at Hooligans. And I was planning on changing the format a little bit, but we're going to keep it the way it was. So everybody can read, I hope, even you, Marco. I'm going to go over what's here. So you're going to have a chance to see, sorry, Paul, art exhibited by 4 or 5 local artists with a Rotary connection. Their art will be displayed throughout Hooligans at the Hooligans Restaurant and Art Gallery. You're going to have a chance to show up there, have a snack and a drink before you proceed to your restaurant. To keep our COVID, again, protocols in place, you see the schedule below. Here's how this is going to work. Starting tomorrow, you're going to send me an email saying what time slot you want and what restaurant you want, and you can see how it rolls. So at 5:30 to 6 o'clock is the first opportunity to see the art, have a drink. At 6, you'll get kicked out of Hooligans and you'll proceed to the restaurant that you have chosen, the Fox, the Side Door, El Buco, or the North, for your time slot. As you can see, there are 8, 8, 8, and 6 for every location, and the 6 works its way through. Same thing, 6:15, that gives us a bit of time to disinfect the restaurant, goes across, you go to a 7 o'clock dinner, 7 o'clock to 7:30, you go across to the spots, and 7:45. The only one where we're a little tight is the last one to get people through, because 8:30 is a little late for dinner, so we'll play that out as it goes. You see the spots, you see how it works. Send me an email, the time you want, and send me 2 restaurants in that time slot, because I'm not going to try to chase these as they come. As the emails come in, I'll collect them, I'll put them together, and you'll get your first opportunity. If somebody beats you to that spot and it's gone and you don't have a second option, I'll either email you back in 2 or 3 days when I get caught up. So give me as much info in your email, the time you want, the restaurant you want. I don't care how many options you give me. I'm going to fill them up based on first in, first allocated. Hooligans is going to give us the opportunity with a bigger space to sell 120 tickets. So I'm going to allow each person to buy 4 tickets. Once you bought it, you own it. You're going to get billed for it. If you're bringing friends that aren't Rotarians, that's fine. It'll go on your bill. Each person has an opportunity. A ticket is going to be put into the draw for the art that each artist has donated. There is a 5th piece of art that we are going to auction off. And Todd, here's a little pump for you with our Rotary auction. That piece of art that we're going to auction off, we're going to give that to your auction to kind of help kick off that effort as well. So there's a little help for for that project there. So you see what's on the screen there, folks. We can raise the better part of $5,000 here if this works out. I think we should sell the tickets pretty quickly. Marshall has given me a ton of help in putting this together, and I know I'm getting the hook here, Deb. I'm sorry. Marshall's given me a ton of help putting this together. I think we'll sell it out fairly quickly. It seems like a fun thing to do. And again, the theme of this whole thing, dress up. If you have a tuxedo and a ball gown, hopefully that's you and your wife, not you own both of those. wear them, dress up, go out, make it a night out. There's not a lot to do. We're heading in a hopefully not the wrong direction, and our options to have some fun are being limited. Dress up, enjoy the night, have some fun, a little bit of culture. It's a cool idea, and we can make $5,000 for this. So anyways, that's it. Thank you, everybody. Start sending me emails tomorrow at 9 o'clock. If I get it today, I will delete it. Tomorrow being Friday at 9 o'clock, I am not going to respond to it. I'm hiking tomorrow. I'm hiking Saturday. I'll get to it on the weekend. Don't send me an email going, did you get my email? Because then I'll just delete everything from it. Tomorrow at 9 o'clock, I will accept your emails. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, guest speaker Jody. That was awesome. I really appreciate it. We have 2 guest speakers today, so that's fantastic. But no, seriously, Jody, thanks so much. I know you're putting a lot of work and effort into October and the events, and we really appreciate it. You're making a huge difference, so thank you. Now, another announcement is we're going to try some new technology tricks next week. So we want to give you a heads up. So what we're going to do is at 11:45, we're hoping people will come online, and we're going to have breakout rooms. So what will happen is as people come into and sign on to Zoom, you'll just kind of be allocated into the different breakout rooms so that it's easier to chat. So what we're hoping is to have groups of like 6 to 10 people, and it's just easier to have some camaraderie, have a chit chat, and lets a lot more people just have a chance to say hi versus trying to do it with 50, 60, 70 people on with all the little squares. So that's what we're going to try next week. And then what we're also going to be trying, whether it's next week or the week after, is going to be polling. So this is going to be where we're going to be asking some questions, and you'll see a little poll tags pop up on your screen, and then everybody can, vote or look at it, or so essentially take a poll. So we're going to start playing with some of those other options and just see how we can expand and create a little more interest in our meetings. So thanks so much. And yes, I am seeing some of the chats. So Greg might be worth a fine from Eric from SA. So watch out. You're on the it's random, I think. So yes. Past President Greg, you're doing wonders for our SAA pot, so thanks. And I have one announcement, a serious one now. As most of you know, from last week, we made the announcement that Ron Riley has gone in for an operation. So he is home recovering. I talked to him a couple times this week. He's doing really well. The surgery was a complete success. He just has a heck of a lot of recovery. So for those of you that aren't familiar, he had an anterior cervical decompression and fusion with iliac bone graft and cervical plates on C4, 5, C6, 7. So kind of the big thing is they did take more bone out of his hip than they anticipated. So his hip is extremely sore. And of course, with his neck, he cannot do too much. So I'm not sure, is he on? Okay, just double checking. Couple things he does need, since he cannot, lift, do, or even move around too much. He does have gardens, and there is a need for them to be put to bed for the winter. So I know I reached out to a few of the directors, but if you are a gardener, if you have some extra time and love to do that, I'm sure they'd really appreciate a quick visit over there and help out with that. Kim's got her hands full with Ron recovering. So thank you very much for that. Birthdays and anniversaries. Gonna go to club anniversaries first. Ron Dennis, October 1st, 39 years. Way to go, Ron. Jack Walwyn, October 7th, 46 years. So that's pretty awesome. And we have one birthday, and to celebrate that one birthday, we have a really fabulous happy birthday video. So Rob Galloway, October 5th, I hope you're going to enjoy this special birthday greeting.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
So awesome. Happy birthday, Rob. And for having a birthday, you also enjoy a donation in your honor of 5 Polio Plus vaccinations. So congratulations and enjoy your birthday. Al Mallory from Public Relations has done another awesome video for us. So we're just getting that queued up. Oh, Al, are you there? Al?
Yes, I am.
Yes. Do you want to
How are you,
speak to
President Deb?
it up?
Well, I don't have too much. I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory. People are probably getting sick of these social media videos, but this is a little more into how YouTube works. Actually, there's a really good documentary I just watched that everyone should watch on kind of the, you know, the way social media is going. And it's on Netflix. It's called The Social Dilemma. So I don't watch many of these documentaries, but that one was really good. If you want to see if you want to be scared from what's happening with social media, watch that.
Thanks a lot, Al. I think we've got it queued up and ready to go.
Hello, fellow Rotarians. I'm sure you were really missing the weekly social media demo videos. And so I've just got one more short one for you. This one's on YouTube. And maybe to keep it more interesting, I'll go into YouTube a little bit in general, how the algorithm works before I talk about our page in particular. So YouTube, of course, started in 2005 with the very first video, but it soon became the largest video streaming service, and nowadays there's 500 hours of video uploaded to the platform every minute, and over 2 billion users. Early on, what they used to do in terms of determining which videos to show individuals is they would look at the view count in terms of how many people are actually clicking on each video. But then the algorithm got a little more advanced, where they didn't just want to track those clicks. They look at, are people actually watching the video in terms of the watch time. And then in 2016, they introduced machine learning, where it actually tracks a lot of different things. Watch time is still extremely important, but you know, how long before you click off, what you search for to begin with, the time of day you're watching it, who you subscribe to, and all of this goes into personalized recommendations. And so everyone, based on your personality and your profile, you get different recommendations. So we have to remember that social media companies are in the business of selling advertising. So what's the most important thing? The most important thing for them is to hold your attention as long as possible. And so how they do that is show you things that you're not going to be prone to clicking off of. Now the problem with it is it reinforces what you already believe. You're not exposed to opposing views most of the time, because they'll try, at times they'll try something, it may say opposing view, and if you don't watch it, they won't show you those anymore because they're trying to hold your attention. Now this leads to political polarization, and we're seeing that a fair bit, because the news is customized based on what will hold our attention, and generally what will hold our attention is things we already believe in anyway. So now let's go on to the Barrie Rotary Club YouTube page. So it's just Barrie Rotary. As you can see, we only have 67 subscribers, so most of the club is not actually subscribed. But if you have been watching the weekly meetings on here, be sure to click the subscribe button and also this little bell, and this is what's going to notify you when a new video actually comes up. So if you want to be notified of all new uploads, you click all, or if you want YouTube to decide when they notify you, you just do the personalized. So we of course have our weekly videos on here, but there's all kinds of good stuff in terms of our different projects. You look at the one for Wheels for Wellness, for example, festivals of trees and so on. So if we want them to be recommended to people, I mean, it's it's determined on how the watch time really, or people watching this, and also these like buttons. You can see no one's actually liked or disliked this, but I can like the Wheels for Wellness video, for example. So that's a quick overview of our Barrie Rotary YouTube channel and YouTube in general. So just make sure next time you're on there that you click the subscribe button, and we'll hopefully continue to grow our channel.
Thanks so much, Al. This is it's really great. Those are fabulous and very educational. So I know each time I kind of have you do those things, I always learn something. So really appreciate that. So SAA Eric, gotta put my mask on. Yeah.
Thanks, President Deb. Yes, we're not going to be distancing for a few minutes. We'll get the masks on. Those beautiful Rotary masks. So I got a couple of things. Marshall, if you're still on there, did you want to introduce us to Liam? Just say a few things about what it took to get that video for the anthem.
Yes, thank you, Sergeant Arms Eric and President Deb. Those are my two grandchildren by my youngest daughter, Erica. Liam is age 6, and Juliana, who was the flag waver, is age 3. Liam learned that last year in kindergarten and has been practicing it. So I thought it'd be neat to have a little challenge to other Rotarians who have children and grandchildren who might be learning the O Canada. And I'm not sure if you caught it, but he hasn't got all the words exactly right. And if you listen to that carefully, you'll see it's O Canada, our home and native land, true pastry love in all our sons' commands. So he does know pastry, even though he does not know patriotism.
Thanks. I'm totally with him there, Marshall. I'm a pastry lover myself, and it was a pretty nice way to do O Canada. We still do not have very many of the three amigos with us today, and we don't have the teams that failed. So we're going to take a look at a couple of grandkids that are not yet ready for O Canada. I noticed Chris Yanch, Grandpa Chris, and Linda are not online today, but Chris knows that he has been pretty missing in action from the Zoom meetings, but he and I had a chat this week, so I'm going to introduce you to baby Maya, who was born August 1st, to Chris's daughter Courtney and Nick. This is their first. Pretty cute looking baby there. Next slide. Also a Grandpa Chris baby. This one is baby Ella, born August 30th, and this is to Jackie and Aaron. So this is their second child at 7 pounds, 13 ounces. These are both RVH babies, of course. A great place, that one. And next slide, please. This is Grandpa Chris's third child, grandkid. This is Eli. So Eli is also from Jackie and Aaron, and he's watching over the sister and cousin. So a pretty good month in August for Chris and Linda. I think because he is not a Zoom kind of guy, President Deb and I may have to go and collect in person. But he knows the fine is going to be significant for all of this good news and his missing in action status.
Absolutely.
Okay, Jeff, let's see. Now this one we found online. Grandpa Brian and Nicole, did you want to introduce us to this little fella?
Yeah, that's our new grandson, born September 28th. I'm sorry, but it was a home birth, and no RVH involved in that, and that's Ethan. He's doing great. He was over 9 pounds.
Very nice. And we have a slide here with Mom and Dad as well. That's a pretty special news story, and awful fresh, right? It's just a couple of days old.
And didn't even come in and do it under the announcements and good news announcements. Nothing.
Yeah, I was not personally notified of this good news. Brian, what were you thinking of doing in terms of making this a good news announcement in good faith?
Well, we as I recall, it was posted on Facebook, and you're a friend on Facebook, so it was my way of making you aware of it, President Deb and Sergeant at Arms Eric. And
I'm
it
seeing a lot of,
obviously was effective.
based on the number of shaking heads in the Zoom feed, I think people are saying that that passive announcements are not going to cut it. Nor is missing President Deb in your address to the chair.
Yeah,
Well,
I think there's a, especially since everyone had to help them out on the chat line, you know, to pick that up.
This is true. Yeah, yeah. A lot of good notices going on.
So what do we have?
Oh, yeah.
We've got not born at RVH,
Mhm.
so SAA, you know, Eric and RVH.
Well, that saved us a bit of money. That's okay.
Yeah, we've got almost a 10-pounder. That's got to be worth something.
Yeah, big baby.
Yeah. Not
Not
addressing.
in the chair. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
3, and not making the announcement.
Yeah. Yeah, the passive announcement is
Wow, that's
definitely not so
4
good.
things.
Yeah. So $1 each makes sense to me.
Yeah, that's not gonna cut it. You wanna try again?
I don't know, $10 each, how's that?
Yeah,
That's
40
not
bucks.
bad.
I like that, I'll take that.
It's always good to let people decide their own fines, isn't it?
Yeah, this is good.
That sounds great, Brian. You can make that through the an e-transfer to your SAA or through an online donation to the club. Thanks for
Thank
that.
you.
And congratulations to you and Nicole. That's pretty special news. Is Jonathan Derrick on the line today? I do see Jonathan. Hey, Jonathan.
Hey, SAA, Eric and President Deb.
Look at that. You know, we've caught a few new houses, and this is like almost a new house. It sure looks a pretty. It's got a house, doesn't it?
Well, that house was actually built in 1890.
I don't think there's a piece that's kind of fresh.
Yeah, I've got the splinters to prove it. It's very fresh.
Well, it looks like an addition that's you know, a lot bigger than a micro house. President Deb, what do you think an addition like that's got to be worth in feeling like a whole new house?
Oh, yeah, especially, you know, it really accents and helps, you know, build out the existing house. So there's was there any architect involved in that, you know?
Yeah, my wife Andrea will be glad to hear that she's being called an architect. Yeah, she was part of the process.
That's pretty nice. Now again, this was only found out on Facebook, so it's another passive thing. I think it looks like a pretty good news announcement. Did you have an offer that's you know, maybe you're not quite as generous as Brian, but it certainly looks like a nice place to invest.
Well, definitely, but I do see kids there.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of thinking that 2 kids would know "Oh Canada." So I'm thinking either $10 or send in an "Oh Canada" with the kids singing.
Okay, you know what, I'll do both. I think I was worried I wouldn't be able to afford the stain for it after the fine, but $10 in a song I think is a good deal. So I'll go with that.
All right, thanks, Jonathan.
Thanks.
You know what? Let's hold off on the next slide because I noticed there are a few people, you know, online today that aren't always there. John Ingram, I think I saw you in your childhood bedroom. Are you still online there? John Ingram.
Yeah, he's on mute.
Oh, you're muted. There you are. How are things in the bedroom today?
They're great in the bedroom. SAA Eric and President Deb. It's good to be here. The kids are back in school now, so a little easier to make time for the Rotary meetings.
Well, you know, I had a little bit of information. I do not have a photo on this, but I heard there was a new truck in your life.
There's a 2018 truck that I bought in 2018.
Wow, that's been a while. Okay,
It's been a while. And I'm pretty sure John Laking got me on that one.
Okay, so I may have bad information. You got nothing else as far as that kind of information goes?
I don't.
All right. I'll have to take a look at my sources then.
Yeah.
I really can't find them for that one. And he even got in the addresses to bed. All right, John, you go back to bed. Todd Tuckey, I saw you were online. Let's take you off. I saw
President Deb,
oh, good.
SAA.
You got right in there. Todd, I saw real nice news on Facebook for you as well. Did you want to tell us what's going on with Kirsten?
Yeah. My youngest daughter, Kirsten, just before COVID, graduated with their Masters of Architecture from Bond University in Australia, and came home, and then the pandemic hit, and she's waited, and she's now this week started her first full-time and hopefully permanent career job at Salter Pilon Architects.
Well, that's pretty nice. Nice to have a daughter moving home and being local. We find Todd a fair bit, but that's a pretty nice piece of news.
Yeah, and you know, I have a bit of an affinity with you know, Bond University having a stepdaughter that has also graduated from there. So Todd, I think we'll give you a break today. I know it's pretty costly to send them off to Australia for school, so this is your little break and contribution to paying off those school debts.
Thank you, President Deb. Much appreciated.
Congrats, and thanks for bringing another professional home to Barrie. First Hubby Steve. Did I see First Hubby Steve online? He was there a while back.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, hi.
Picture.
Yeah, your picture's not on there now, but when I last looked and your picture was on, I noticed an awful lot of typing going on. And so I'm assuming you're the bulletin editor.
Well, I could fake it and say yes, if that's going to avoid the fine, Sergeant at Arm Eric and President Deb, because I don't want to get fined for that. You thought I got to miss that, didn't you?
It's already too late.
Oh my gosh. Hey, Ray, I'm not even going there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I heard the bulletin editor was actually, is it David or I missed that, but I knew that it wasn't Steve. So when I saw the flying fingers on the keyboard, it just made me want to check in with First Hubby Steve. Anything you want to offer up there?
Yeah, I think offer up.
And what are you asking me to offer up? A fine? Is that what you're suggesting?
Oh, that'd be nice, yeah.
For not addressing, you know, the president right off the bat, not paying attention to your significant other's, you know, meeting. So yeah.
Wow, geez, this is kind of setting a precedent. I'm not sure how I should respond to that. So, well, I heard three different things. So how about $5 each?
That sounds good.
That seems good. Yeah.
Yep, and maybe you better have a good pot of tea on the time President Debbie gets home.
Well, that's going to be a little impossible since we're not in the same location. So, but it's there in spirit. How's that?
Sounds good. Okay, last one is our pet pick for the week. Did I see Ian Pavlik online? Is Ian around? Okay, if no Ian, let's go to the next one, because I know Aaron is online. So Aaron, do you want to tell us about this little foster fellow?
Sure. This is McKinley, and he is a 9-week-old Sprocker that we are fostering for a breeder here in Barrie. He's been a handful, but he's a cute little fella, and we're looking forward to a lot of time with him.
Nice. It's a pretty cute pic. So thanks for sharing that one. Keep those pet pics coming. We've got one from Ian Pavlik, and we'll hope to get that one next week. And President Deb, I think that's all I got for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, SAA Eric.
Thanks, folks.
Oh, look at that.
And one more sleep for me.
Yes. If you heard that one more sleep, then Eric is retired. So, now, so on to this week's program. We have Marcia Woods from FreshSpoke, and our introducer is Catherine.
Oh, hi, everyone. Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians and guests. Today, I have the honor of introducing Marcia Woods, the CEO and co-founder of FreshSpoke. Marcia is best described as a go-getter with more than 20 years of success increasing visibility and market recognition for startup and established organizations. As a local foodie, I've been really impressed with our company FreshSpoke. Using the FreshSpoke app, companies can source, buy, and arrange delivery of local food for their businesses. To quote the FreshSpoke website, FreshSpoke is an economic revolution in food that connects buyers directly with local food producers, making it possible to get what we need locally, so revenue flows directly into the wallets of local food producers where it belongs. And on a personal note, I've gotten to know Marcia as a food reporter, and I've been really impressed with FreshSpoke. And even my son Matthew has worked for Marcia as a developer for the past couple of summers. So that's kind of cool. And also, Marcia donated a couple things to our Rotary auction today. So anyway, take it away, Marcia, please.
Mute. Hi, there we go. I had to go off mute. Thanks so much, Catherine. It's a real pleasure. I have to say, while I bring my slide presentation up, wondering if somebody could give me the ability to screen share, would be great. But just so you know, just for the record, we did try and get Matthew to quit school and come and work for us full time, at least on both summers. I think the last thing that my co-founder Henry said to him on the way out the door was, you know, school's totally overrated, and we really think that you should probably just quit and come and work for us full time. So anyway, I do apologize for that. If he takes us up on the offer. Just wanted to double check and make sure everybody can see my screen. Can I get a head nod? Great, perfect. So thanks so much. This is actually really interesting timing to be doing this presentation. It actually got me out of a warehouse move as well. We actually are just literally our entire team with a series of trucks and floats are opening up a warehouse today. So I got to say, oh darn, I got to go and do a presentation. So I really want to focus in on this whole issue of local food, and I'm sure it's all something that, you know, is top of mind right now with COVID happening. And one of the things that I think is really startling is just the sheer growth that we've experienced in local food over the past 20 years particularly. And now what we're looking at is a stat that sees about 75% of Canadians now willing to pay more for local food, and that is up to 25% more. There we go. And this is really great news for local food suppliers in our area and across Ontario. They're very eager to take advantage of this market opportunity. You know, I came from a farming family, and you know, our particular family had to give up our farm because the small to mid-sized family farm just really has become, over the past 5 decades, almost virtually extinct. But with the surgence in demand for local food, there is a growing opportunity again, and it's certainly a wonderful opportunity for our local food suppliers. But the challenge is really distribution. And as much as our local food suppliers would like to take advantage of this, these are like every other small and mid-sized business. We just don't have any kind of food distribution system that can accommodate to local food. And we live under this kind of myth of, we think that everybody takes a humongous pallet of whatever products they're bringing into Sobeys and Metro and Whole Foods in our hospitals. But the reality is that it's quite the opposite. All of our big retailers and small retailers have very small receiving areas now. They take only enough product from every supplier that goes right through receiving and out onto the store shelf. So as much as this is an opportunity for our local food suppliers, it is absolutely not feasible for a local food supplier to get in their car or truck or van and be able to do deliveries over multiple locations in a given day. So this actually did create this opportunity for our company to address that issue of a last mile distribution system that would then open up market opportunities for local food suppliers. And then of course, give us as consumers greater access to local food. So what we created at FreshSpoke is an online marketplace platform, not dissimilar to Etsy or Amazon or anywhere else that we go to buy multiple products over a series of categories. But in our particular case, our marketplace platform, which is both web and mobile, gives our wholesale buyers the ability to be able to buy, to place the order, and to be able to then process the payment and then the delivery. But the beautiful thing about our system is that they're able to do all of those functions across hundreds of suppliers across Ontario as one automated transaction. The one key to our platform is that it really is automating what used to take 30 hands. So we've shrunk the size of the supply chain, we've shrunk the distance that food is traveling, and we've driven an incredible amount of efficiency out of the system. So suppliers can come into FreshSpoke, they can create a shop in FreshSpoke themselves, they can manage their wholesale pricing, and be able to really tell their story to consumers like us who want to know, and to be able to authenticate the sources of our food. And then as buyers, we're able to come in and search for what it is that we're looking for. If I am Sobeys, I might, I'm interested in sourcing local food brands. If I'm a small mom and pop operator, I might be interested in, only focusing in on dry goods, focusing in on produce. So there's a huge opportunity for you to be able to look at things that are gluten-free, organic, plant-based. So there's a number of different functions built in. But the real key to how it is that we've been able to operate and been successful in the last 4 years is really comes down to our delivery system and our logistics. And our logistics system leverages excess capacity in commercial delivery. Instead of putting more trucks on the road, we tap into the excess capacity that exists in commercial delivery, and we use that to coordinate our orders on behalf of our local food suppliers. And then we have a driver's app, just like the Uber app, if you've ever taken Uber or Lyft, that actually manages the whole delivery logistics system for the driver. They accept it, it optimizes their route, tells them all the stops they make. When they get to the store at the other end, they're able to be able to collect the proof of payment, which might be a signature on their screen, or for the old school folks that still need proof of delivery, they can take a picture of an invoice that's been stamped and upload it to our system. And the reason we did this way is because we need to start looking at sustainability. We need to look at a delivery system that actually reduces carbon and is more sustainable, because we also can't take any more trucks on our road. And right now, the average commercial truck travels either 40% emptied or completely empty. So that's where our technology comes in, is grabbing all that excess capacity and then making it work. So it's very much a crowdsourced delivery system. And we have folks that participate that are large fleet operators that have multiple trucks. We recently just started conversations with even Giant Tiger, who has distribution out of Eastern Ontario, but they're up in Barrie at the Giant Tiger locations at 6 o'clock in the morning, 2 times a week. They're looking for ways to fill their truck on the way back, instead of actually having that truck go back empty. And as a result of this, instead of charging and passing all of these costs on to suppliers, we're able to do all of this for under 20%. So we're at 17.2% that we hang on to from every dollar that a supplier makes. And if you look at any data out there, you'll realize that this is a head scratcher for a lot of people, because of the fact that most suppliers that are in the food supply chain are making less than 20 cents on the dollar. In some cases, they're making 12 cents on the dollar. So we've been able to drive an incredible amount of efficiency and cost out of our system and get local food moving. And so FreshSpoke, as a background, is started by myself. I live here in Barrie. My co-founder is Henry Kwok, and we are definitely a killer combination of sales, marketing, and certainly technology. We're both 3-time tech entrepreneurs. This is my 3rd venture. It's Henry's, but this is really the first one that we've done together. We've knocked down a lot of dominoes as a small tech company from Barrie. We're an Ontario Centers of Excellence company. We were one of only 7 companies that was accepted out of a field of 800 companies that applied globally to an accelerator program called FoodX in New York City. I moved there for 6 weeks and lived in New York City and worked with the experts there to help us to really build out a platform that can scale and make a big impact on food in Canada. We also received the Ontario Premier's Award for Agri-Food Innovation Excellence. And now we are one of the inaugural tech companies that are a part of the new Ryerson DMZ Innisfil Accelerator. And we work with the team at Ryerson DMZ and some folks locally as well as across Ontario that are providing us with great advice on an ongoing basis. We have a great team of food scientists, sales associates, logistics experts, and certainly marketing coordinators, and we could not absolutely do this without them. And as a result, since 2016, we now service wholesale accounts across Ontario, as far north as Sudbury and North Bay, as far as east as Cornwall and Ottawa, and all the way down to Windsor and the Niagara Peninsula. You'll notice that the stars there show our locations of our partner consolidation centers. So we leverage excess capacity in commercial delivery. And the other piece of this is, of course, trying to get the consolidated food as close to those markets as possible, because that's how we can tap into more drivers. So the green indicates a consolidation center here in Barrie. As I mentioned to you, I actually just got out of the move today to do this. We are opening up a brand new facility here in Barrie, and we have 4 more facilities planned, similar, that will service market clusters, specifically around Ontario local food. We now reach over 800 buyers across Ontario. We're a vendor of record with Sobeys, Foodland, Whole Foods, as well as Metro. And this list is growing every day. We're in Pusateri's, and as well as, who am I forgetting that's really significant? And we just recently started talking to Goodness Me. So these are huge opportunities for the 220 local food suppliers we have to be able to scale their business in a way that they can focus in on building their brand, developing their products, and then they have a partner that can handle the challenges and the heavy lifting of distribution as well as sales support. Everything was going great up until March. And then, of course, you know, the supply chain literally, as we all know, buckled under COVID. But the reality is that for us as a company, COVID did not bring us to our knees. In fact, it bolstered us, and it definitely changed our business model forever, but I think, frankly, for the better. We knew before going into COVID that over 70% of households had indicated that they were ready to start buying groceries online or had already purchased groceries online. And I have a startling statistic. So at that time, in January, only 1 to 2% of groceries in Canada were purchased online, of the total sales. Within 3 weeks, 10 to 15% of all groceries were being purchased online, which is an incredible amount of growth in a very short period of time. We were a tech company that got into food, so we were ready for this. Our competitors were not, and what we saw was everything that we had hoped for, that you know, why is it that we needed to spend so many human resources and so much carbon going out to do in-person sales calls when that category manager at Sobeys or that small independent could pick up the app and just do the order themselves? All of a sudden, our wish came true in a matter of a short period of weeks. So because of this growth in groceries online, and coupled with the fact that we have local food suppliers that literally their markets just dried up overnight. Most of our small to mid-sized suppliers were not set up for retail. Most of their business came from food service. Our farmers markets closed. Their sales pipelines literally evaporated overnight. So we looked at ourselves and said, we have an opportunity here that we can help our local food suppliers. We can help to also create a more sovereign food system within Ontario by being able to open up more access to local food. And finally, we're able to create some rural resilience within within Ontario, which we so desperately need right now. COVID hit our rural communities harder than it did anywhere else. And all you had to do was to go into a grocery store in a rural community to realize that those trucks out of Sobeys distribution center weren't going there unless they were full. So the number of times they were visiting was far, far less. So there's an incredible disparity between, communities like Barrie and some of our smaller communities. So as of today, we are opening up a distribution center at 112 Commerce Park Drive. It's a 5,600 square feet facility that will provide home and curbside pickup for the Simcoe region, as well as Muskoka District, down into York region and into Toronto from this particular facility. That means that we're able to provide more local food suppliers with greater opportunities for growth and scale within their companies, but also equally as important, we're also being able to now provide local residents and consumers with a safe way to access local food in such a way that actually provides greater impact in terms of economic development. And, I've been on this soapbox for a very long time about the sheer fragility of our food system within Ontario. And they often put me on panels to basically say, like, we're in trouble here. We cannot feed ourselves. We are one of the most agricultural rich areas globally. And yet we depend 80% of our food supply on south of the border. That is no longer can be acceptable to any of us. And so we need to start reprioritizing our policies and how we actually spend our money, to start looking at how we can invest locally in our own food supply. Because if we don't support local food suppliers now, they won't be there for us forever. The other key piece of this is that anything we do going forward, COVID has created this amazing opportunity for businesses to stop and pause and also look at what their impact is on a sustainable perspective. We're all working towards a circular economy, for sure. And we've got great partners on that side of things that are helping us to look at ways that we, even as FreshSpoke, can be carbon neutral, but carbon negative. And one of the pieces I said to my team when we started this process is, I won't do it if it's in cardboard. I'm absolutely blown away when I look at Garbage Day in Barrie and I see the amount of Amazon boxes that are sitting out in recycling boxes. It's got to be unacceptable to anybody long term. We can't have this kind of impact. We have to start looking at things more sustainably. And so all of our system and the way in which we're doing home and curbside pickup is in reusable plastic totes with reusable insulators and reusable chilling materials, so that all those materials go out. And then when we deliver to your home, when you're finished with them, when the next order comes in, you stick your totes back out on the front porch, and our driver comes in and drops the new ones and picks up the old ones and brings them back to the warehouse, where they are washed and also sterilized. And the sterilization process that we have is a fogger that actually removes, it's a food grade fogger, but actually does at a certain concentration, remove any potential hazards, even COVID. So what does this mean long-term? Well, obviously we're using Barrie as an opportunity for us to really look at and flesh out our model, to look at end-to-end visibility within the food system, and to be able to further automate our own technology. And then we're using this opportunity to get ourselves to a position where we can start to scale our model across Canada from Barrie. And that means, a Series A financing round, and we've already engaged our Series A financiers. You can see them there. We've actually, during COVID, raised $500,000 from our existing investors and got another $180,000 in grants provincially and federally that have enabled us to do this. And I raised all that money in COVID from our existing investment pool, which was incredible to think that during a time of unprecedented upheaval and chaos, that people believed in local food and believed in what we were doing, to the point where they would actually open up their checkbooks and invest even more in this particular vision that we have. Then from there, once we have the Barrie facility up and running, we have an opportunity through a partnership with Goodwill Industries to look at 3 other distribution centers within market clusters in Ontario, in southwestern Ontario, as well as eastern Ontario. We're also, and as part of that whole project, working with Peterborough Kawartha Economic Development Department to put one particular facility in Peterborough starting in early 2021. Goodwill Industries has come to the table for us as a partner because they're rebuilding within Canada. As many of you remember, they've had a really significant setback within the Canadian arm of Goodwill. Since then, they have one of the best CEOs I've ever encountered in my life as the head of the organization. They cleaned house, new board, new senior team, and they are doing remarkable things within Ontario and starting to regrow their footprint across the region. They're a great partner for us because they're all about social impact like we are. And then once we get out of once we're finished in the province in 2021, we're going to scale to the rest of Canada. And we've already got opportunities and interest from other jurisdictions within Canada, because what we're doing at FreshSpoke doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. As of 6 o'clock this morning, we're a very, very unique model that is now proven. It's now commercialized and profitable. And now we are ready to take that and grow it across the rest of the area. And what does that mean for Goodwill? And what does that mean in terms of the future? It means that these distribution clusters can now go even further to start to look at retail pop-ups across Ontario. And this is a project we're also working on with Goodwill that I'm super excited about. These are repurposed shipping containers that will enable us to get local food on the ground in markets across Ontario. So the distribution centers will service a market cluster. The retail pop-ups will service communities. And these retail pop-ups include refrigeration, frozen, and as you can see, they're just remarkable. They have a remarkably small footprint that enable us to really take these and build them anywhere. They also are one of the lightest, they're one of the lightest hardware applications for point of sale you could imagine. And you've all probably heard about the automated grocery experience. And that's what we've built. So our technology in the front of our warehouse in Barrie will be turned into a lab in the next 3 months. And that lab will start testing our own automated point of sale system, which will basically be all driven by FreshSpoke's mobile app. So you'll walk up to the door at any of our retail pop-ups, you'll scan, and if there's 3 people shopping in the store already, it'll tell you to go back to your car and wait, or it'll give you admittance. It'll immediately authorize your credit card for a certain amount of money, and then you'll grab a shopping cart and you'll start filling your shopping cart with local food from across Ontario. All of that just is accumulating and calculating automatically into your shopping cart. You grab your bag, you put your groceries in, and you leave. There's no need for you to check out. There's no need for you to scan anything. It's all done automatically. So what are we creating and what's the end goal, the vision for this? The vision for this is really to have a much more reliable food system. We have an incredibly broken supply chain, and COVID showed us this. We also need to create more resilience within our food supply chain. And of course, the biggest opportunity is for our local food suppliers. By having a partner like us in the market, they can now focus in and start to realize that there's huge opportunities for scale. So even our farmers now, with new technology for indoor growing, you know, we can stop that notion of farmers having to take jobs outside of the farm. Somehow that became acceptable, that you have a full-time job on the farm, but you still have to work outside the farm, and that somehow this is a hobby. And so there's a ton of technology now for indoor growing that can give our local food suppliers in Ontario the opportunity to actually grow year-round and offset that. And so ultimately, we're really looking at reinventing that supply chain and being able to get more access to local food for folks like us who want it, and create more market opportunities for our local food suppliers. So I thank you for listening, and I sure as heck hope that I see you at our curbside pickup in the next 3 weeks when we launch. We're also, as I mentioned, really thrilled. We'll be donating some gift cards to to your organization. And we do have corporate gift cards available, as well as, for real estate agents, for anybody that's out there that's looking. And be sure to have a look for our magazine that we're publishing in association with our home service called Gray's Magazine, which really is telling the stories of local food and inspiring people to learn more about what's in their backyard in terms of local food. So thank you so much. And I'm happy to answer any questions if there's time.
Okay. Thank you very much, Marcia. I think we'll leave kind of the questions for a little bit after. So if you don't mind staying on when we finish up, then anybody has some questions, we can have a few minutes that way.
Sure, sounds good. Thank you.
And Marshall.
Hello there. Marcia, it's my privilege and honor to be a thanker for you today. First of all, I want to thank you additionally for the gift to our Rotary auction. As you know, where Rotary is pledged to eliminate polio from the world. It's one of the great projects that we have. I was very taken by the presentation you gave today. I know the struggles that the local farmers and local producers have gone through, particularly through the pandemic, to connect to local consumers. I've been trying to help them through a newsletter that I run, but I know the challenges that they all have to meet. And what I was also impressed with is that when I listened to your process for consumers, which I guess I would be one of, I actually understand how it would work. We've been doing it as a couple. We've been doing it with PC and with Zayres and with Centra, and it's been more or less hit and miss. And from what I can see, you've really covered all of the difficulties that we've faced in the last little while with delivery and pickup. And I certainly look forward to the time when we'll be able to use your system on a weekly basis. We thank you very much for bringing that the word to us today. Thank you again for the work that you do for local farmers and local consumers. And as I say, we look forward to being able to use your service in the very near future.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you again. And I did notice on your screen with the suppliers that you had a Georgian college, I think it's Louiselle, if I'm pronouncing that right. That's a Georgian college success story.
Yeah, we have a number of brands that we work with, but we actually brought Louisella into Sobeys as well as Whole Foods, and we just recently introduced them to Healthy Planet. So that's the fun part of our job, is that we get this opportunity to take these amazing brands, and we are so lucky to have so much incredible artisanal products that are produced right here. We're actually one of, it's a very unique region within Simcoe County when it comes to food entrepreneurship, for sure.
Oh, that's awesome. I know it's one of my favorites. So the orange chocolate, if anybody's looking,
yes,
is definitely one of my favorites.
Yep.
So, but I too would like to thank you for taking the time and coming to speak with us. As you know, and probably have picked up over our meeting, that we do support polio. And as a thank you, we are going to donate 10 Polio Plus vaccinations, has been made in your name, as well as Rotary's Polio Resource Centers are helping the fight against COVID-19 by supporting the preparedness and response units for activities in many countries. So a contribution towards the COVID-19 effort has been made in your name as well.
Wonderful.
So very much for coming and joining us. Please come back and join anytime.
Thank you.
So President Deb's Stronger Together, Together Inspired moment. So Ford, together with the assembly team, puts millions in the driver's seat. So October 1st, 1908, hailed as the car of the century, the first Model T Ford rolled off the assembly line in Detroit, Michigan on this day, bringing vehicle ownership to millions of people for the very first time. So that's pretty incredible. We've got the picture there. Anybody who knows me knows that I've got a fondness for vehicles and cars. So that's a little ode to the start of ownership. So that is President Deb's Stronger Together, Together Inspired moment. And having no other Rotary business, I declare this meeting adjourned. And we're all set. Have a great afternoon, everyone. And please stay on if you have any questions for Marcia. She's going to hang on.